Last segment of Morning at NTV show after the commercial break. Back to the conversation of West Nile agenda. Some 23 years back, mobility in the West Nile was something which is very hard, looking at the different rebel entities that didn't permit people to easily move and also do their businesses. Now, when you look at West Nile and the northern Uganda up to now, they still have the agony of the 1990s war. In northern Uganda, we did see forces like the rebel groups led by Joseph Kony terrorizing people in those years. Meanwhile, when you come to West Nile sub-region, we had also other groups, for example, the National Salvation Front and West Nile Bank Front, which was a rebel group that couldn't allow people to easily have movement to the different places. Now, when you look at this particular group, especially the Uganda National Salvation Front, commonly known as UNRF2, this particular group was an aggrieved group that was opposing the leadership of second term of the former president of Uganda, that's Milton Obote, between 1980s to 1985. However, since then, the signing of a peace agreement between the current government and this aggrieved party has been a very big variable. And as I speak, the head of state is expected to be in West Nile, specifically Yumbe district, to celebrate 23 years of peace ever since this particular peace agreement was signed, and is expected to be in Yumbe on Saturday, which is the 12th. And to have this conversation appreciated better, this morning I'm delighted to be joined by the minister, the state minister for veteran affairs, or the state minister for defense in charge of veteran affairs, that is Honorable Huda Ulero. I want to understand, when you talk about this organization, how far have they gone now that the head of state is expected to be here? But also zeroing it down to the conversation of the ex-combatants. Many of them have not been paid. And what could be the standing statistics of the current ex-combatants that we have in West Nile? Honorable, you're most welcome to Morning at NTV show. I can hold it.
Thank you. My name is Olerukuta Abasan. I'm a member of parliament representing the people of Waringa East County in Yumbe district. Indeed, I'm also the State Minister of Defense in charge of veteran affairs. I am happy to be here this morning to share with the country how far we are preparing to host the head of the state to celebrate a peace festival in Yumbe district and West Nile as general. Indeed, in 2002, the government of Uganda, headed by President Museveni, signed a peace agreement with UNRF2. UNRF in full is Uganda National Rescue Front. Why do we say two? Because this is a splinter group of UNRF. The UNRF is the group that resisted Obote regime. That was in late 1980s. Because the whole of West Nile, in fact, was a war area, and every people in West Nile had moved as refugees in DRC Congo, which was Zaire by that time, and to Sudan, which is now South Sudan currently. And the people here, we grouped them. They formed this rebel group to resist that regime of former President Milton Obote II. Their interest was to bring back their people to their land. And from there, when the government, the NRM government took power, the President Museveni himself came to West Nile personally and called these people to come back. Said, now there's a peace in the country, resume your land. So the official called the people of West Nile to come back. And when we came back, this splitter group also emerged, which is now called the UNRF2, where lastly the peace agreement was signed in 2002. Now it is 23 years. As people of West Nile, we think it is wise that we need to reflect on this peace. After 23 years, what have we achieved from it? What are the benefits? So when we were signing the peace agreement, or when the people of West Nile were signing the peace agreement with government, one of the activities was this day. They had said there should be an annual peace festival for them to reflect back, for them to give accountability, or for government to give accountability to them. And indeed, that is what we are doing today. For like two years, this activity took place. In fact, the first one, the chief guest was General Moses Ali. No, it was General Salim Saleh. Then the second one was General Wamala. So it had now scaled up. Now we are reviving it. That's why now we are having this peace day, which will take place on 12th of this month. In fact, this coming Saturday.
Maybe, Honorable, I want to interest myself. In total, how many of the ex-combatants do we have in West Nile? Now that we shall be seeing the president officially launching their compensation.
In West Nile, we have a group of ex-combatants. But for now, let me talk to you about West Nile Bank Loan, which we launched their payment last year in Koboko, and the UNRF, which is going to be done in this function. Last year in Koboko, we launched the payment of West Nile Bank Front, where we had verified 5,072 members of UNRF, in which 4,755 are paid. Then the few files that are remaining, there were some challenges in it, because we have a procedure of getting up a complete file which is worth paying. So we are working on that, and they will be paid. That one is a done deal with West Nile Bank Front. We have paid a good number, and the few that are to be paid will be paid. We are working on their files.
Maybe
then
if I can ask another question. Ever since this particular peace agreement, we have ex-combatants who are no longer there, those who have died. How will government account for those who have died and they're supposed to get their compensation?
It is true, any ex-combatant that has died qualifies to get the peace dividend, or what we call ex gratia. We pay it to your family members. What is there is the families will have their own meeting. They get somebody who will be responsible. We ask the account number of that person. We ask their NIN numbers, so that they qualify, and we have a minute from the family to show that indeed as a family we have sat and we have agreed Mr. X will be the one to receive the money on behalf of the family. So we pay them, whether you are dead or alive, you qualify to get that peace dividend, and we do that. And now we are doing the verification of UNRF. UNRF is National Rescue Front, a group, in fact the first rebel group that was led by General Moses Ali. And by today, Moses will be in Yumbe. We are now concluding the verification of this group, and it is one of the activities that Museveni will officially do in this council. So far, we have received more than 3,000 files in the ministry, and my technical team are now doing audit on those files so that they will be paid. But those which are already verified, we have already, in fact, started paying them. And this is one of the major activities that the president will officially do in this function. Yeah.
Maybe, Honorable, as we conclude this conversation and I let the room back to my colleague in the studio to wind up with the program, you are a representative of a constituency in Yumbe district, which is the largest refugee hosting district. What will be some of the issues that you would wish to bring before the attention of Fountain Corner?
It is true. We are a district that hosts the biggest number of refugees, especially from South Sudan. By the way, in this function, let me say just a word. We have invited our neighbors. We have invited the leaders from South Sudan. We have invited leaders from DRC Congo to be part of this. Because in this peace, we want them to learn so that when they go back, because one time we were also like them. We are like them, we are refugees, now we are here, we are celebrating a fruit of a peace. Let them come and also borrow from us so that when their people return, they also begin to organize such things so that they reflect